Hello, my name is Porter Robinson, and you're watching the AU Review.
Is that what we can expect from the record? Is it going to be... I mean, my guess is it's going to be a bit eclectic from what you're saying.
I would say that I've embraced a signature harder on this album than with anything else that I've done. I really came to admire how a lot of my favorite albums really have one sort of common thread and a signature to them that runs throughout. My two favorite albums of all time are Graduation by Kanye West and Discovery by Daft Punk, and both of those albums really have a vibe to them. They have something that gels. And so, in fact, there were times in writing this record where I would take an element from a song and, like, for example, an instrument that I hadn't used before, and actually sub it out for an instrument that I'd use in another song to intentionally create an identity and to create a signature that ran throughout the album. I actually wanted to create something that, you know, if you hear that instrument anywhere else, that will then evoke worlds to you. Like, I used a lot of general MIDI sounds, which are sounds that basically really resemble the music that was made in like N64 era games, and PlayStation 1 games, and like RuneScape or early Flash games. They all use general MIDI sounds, which are like not quite as shoegaze twee as like the old Casio keyboards, but like your like shitty $50 Yamaha keyboard that has like a piano that doesn't really sound quite like a piano, and like a bad pizzicato string and a harp sound. And I kind of honed in on what my favorite sounds from that. Ocarina of Time soundtrack is the best example of general MIDI music ever, in my opinion. And I used a lot of those sounds because that is so much more evocative to me and so much more nostalgic and more my childhood than like 8-bit Mario sounds, for example. And yeah, I was definitely like, I've almost forced a signature with the album, and I think the result was great. So I don't know that I would say it's necessarily eclectic, because I was not trying to do this half-assed. I was not trying to write like half DJ bangers and half honest music. It's all stuff that I really care deeply about, to be honest. And there is some stuff that is like incidentally catchy, I think, and some stuff that may have some sort of hit potential. But it's not like reaching to try to write the new Pitbull and Kesha song. You know, it's like it's a song that after writing 50 tracks for this album and narrowing it down to 12, some of them have a riff that might stick with you. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of more or less how it happened. I tried to make it real natural.
Have you been sneaking anything from the next record into the sets at Future?
No, and that's something that I've gone back and forth on. I've really wanted to share my new music with people because I'm really passionate about it. But I don't want to send mixed signals, and I've been doing that for so long, where I've been writing this music that I care so much about and DJing EDM stuff that I don't care as much about on the side. And so my goal was basically to release the album, and then from then on, all the live shows will be all original music, not DJ sets. Excuse me. All original music, not DJ sets, with live sample triggering and a bunch of other elements. I'm still kind of figuring out how I'm going to do the live show exactly. But no, it was a question for me because I kind of wanted to play the new stuff and tease it, but it just wouldn't make sense amongst the dance stuff. And so one more thing, I almost wanted to cancel Future Music Festival, not because I don't love the festival or the crowd, but because I knew that Sea of Voices, I was going to drop it sometime this month, and I just don't want to send mixed signals anymore. I want to really be consistent and hammer on the same kind of ideas. And so this this tour will probably be one of the last tours where I'm doing my kind of classic style of DJ set. And the tour that I'll do once the album comes out, the album tour is gonna be, it's not gonna be like festival house at all. It's gonna be like my record, and we'll see how that fucking goes, man. But it's what I've needed to do for a long time.
And hopefully we see you back here in Australia with the new sound, with the new shows.
Dude, I think that Australia in particular would be really receptive to it. And I was careful not to sort of bite what they're calling the Australian sound, the whole beats movement. Like Future Classic and Flume and Wave Racer and that whole guard. But I do think that Australia has proven itself to be very receptive to like pretty kind of slowed down, chilled out beats music. And while I was careful not to just emulate that, I think there is something in kin, and I would love to take this music on tour in Australia. And yeah, it's just again, it would be so without context for me to have only released dance tracks to date, and then to do this show of all my original. It would just like, well, there'd be no point in doing that. It'd be like almost rude to fans. I at least want people to know what they're getting into, if you understand.
For sure. Well, it's a good note to end it on, and looking forward to hearing the record.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.